Greetings of peace and love, everyone. It is yours truly, Tahuti Ma'atara. Today's date is Sunday, October 27th, 2019. This broadcast is brought to you by TahutiMa'ataraHerbs.com, the only place that you can find genuine products made by yours truly, Tahuti Ma'atara. This broadcast is going to answer several questions I received about Mr. Kanye West. And it is generally it's 3 questions, but one question is broken down into 2 parts. So basically this broadcast will cover myself answering about 5 questions on Mr. Kanye West. I do my best, people, to limit the questions that I answer on a broadcast to 5. And that's why I had to count. But yeah, it's 5. It's 3, but one are broken down into 2 parts, which is a total of 5. 5 helps me out, people, because I am a very, 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 very busy man. I homeschool my sons. That in and of itself is a job, a very rewarding job. I also do consultations. I am getting ready for my mentorship program, which launches January 2020. The School of Herbology is returning in 2020. So suffice to say, I'm going to be a busy cat, but I will keep the broadcast coming. But I do ask that keep the questions short, and my limit is 5. And it doesn't have to all be on one subject. It can be questions in general, but each broadcast will cover only 5 questions. So let's get into this broadcast, which is pretty much my views, my opinions on things that people present to me. Now, the first question on Mr. Kanye West is, Tahuti, what are your views about Kanye West? What are my views about Kanye West? This is the 2-part question because it follows with, what are my views about Kanye West as an artist? What are your views about Kanye West, the social activist? Good questions, fair questions. Well, in all due honesty, people, I'm not a Kanye West fan. I'm not a fan of a lot of artists today, a lot of hip hop artists. I'm not a fan of a lot of modern day hip hop artists. And the number one reason for that is they don't rap about a lot of conscious things. Every blue moon, some artist, some rapper will put out something that captures my attention because the lyrics are stimulating. They're somewhat politically, socially, culturally conscious and relevant. But that's rare, people. That's like every blue moon. Now, what I can say about Kanye West in regards to what I just said is that he would be one of those artists that every blue moon puts out something that will capture my attention. Nothing captivating, but will capture my attention. And, I'll say, wow, he's really saying something. It may not be deep now, but nevertheless, he is saying something. And especially in the sense that compared to other artists, he's saying something. He's saying something worthwhile. So I'll give Kanye credit in that respect. Every now and then, Kanye will come out with something that is saying something. You see, it's very difficult for me to embrace a lot of modern day entertainers, a lot of hip hop artists, a lot of rappers, because they're not saying anything. A James Brown song comes to mind, talking loud and saying nothing. Now, I will give a lot of these hip hop artists credit in the sense that they still bring the funky beats. Now, that's just something about hip hop history. Over the years, the beats, man, the beats have just been off the charts, man, especially beats produced by Dr. Dre. You know, that used to frustrate me many years ago. You know, this dude, and I'm talking about Dre, would just put out these awesome beats. But the lyrics, man, the lyrics were trash, in my opinion. Remember, these broadcasts deal with my opinions, all right? These are just my opinions. Nothing is personal, like a personal attack. I'm just sharing my views, my opinions. Dre will put out the dopest beats, man, but the lyrics were so whack. The lyrics were so whack, and the lyrics did so much harm to the community. Now, Snoop is my dude. Snoop has grown over the years, but Snoop put out a lot of stuff, man, that played a role in society, black society being the way that it is. Not just Snoop. We can add Eazy-E and NWA to the mix. Cube, as much as I enjoy Cube, he played his role. Too Short from Oakland, he played his role. DJ Quick, AMG. You know, I can just rattle off a list of rappers, mostly West Coast rappers, who put out they put out some hits with funky, fresh, or dope beats, but whack lyrics. You know, the lyrics were, as Paris would say, cyanide on wax. Good music, man, great beats, but the lyrics were whack. The lyrics promoted what we have today. Songs about, you know, blowjob, you know, sucking Lingham and squirting semen on women's face and guzzling semen and all type of crazy stuff, man, and twerking. You know, we're in a twerk craze today with African American women. Well, let's clarify, mostly lower level, socioeconomic level black women. That's who's doing that. You don't really see a lot of sisters, you know, middle class sisters, upper class sisters, very educated sisters, high income, 6-digit earning income sisters twerking. Not saying that they can, probably don't, behind closed doors, which if that is the case, I give them credit, because some things should be left to the imagination, and everything just shouldn't be shared so freely. When you share things or give things freely, they lose value in this society, in the capital of the matrix, the United States of America. When you give away things or do things for free, value is gone. You can kiss value goodbye. But those rappers, they played a role in the state of black America, and really America for that matters. You know, a lot of other cultures are quick to mimic black Americans, African Americans, in their state of degeneracy. Again, that's just my personal view, my personal belief, that the United States of America is in a very degenerate state. It's almost like a all-time high, which I should say an all-time low, in degeneracy and debauchery. Again, that's just my opinion. So the country is in that state, and like with just about everything else that's negative, African Americans lead the way. Anything that happens in the United States of America and it's bad, African Americans lead the way, or it'll be worse for African Americans. If it's bad, African Americans will be in first place. They will lead the way. And so that's where we are today, in my opinion, at an all-time low. And a lot of these hip hop artists, these rappers, especially from the West Coast, where I'm from, they played a role. So getting back to my man, Kanye West. Kanye is one of those artists that every now and then he will drop something that is stimulating, mentally stimulating. His last album, his most recent album, I should say, which is entitled Jesus is King. That album is mentally stimulating. I mean, it's not deep or anything, but I mean, it is mentally stimulating. It does make you think. But more so, it's more spiritually stimulating, in my opinion. It's a gospel album, and that says a lot about Kanye. How many hip hop artists, rappers are releasing gospel albums? How many have released a gospel album? That says a lot about Kanye, in my opinion. He does think differently. So while I'm not a Kanye West fan, I don't own any of his CDs. I have made that switch into the digital domain, so I can get everything on my Amazon Music account. And even though I can get everything on my Amazon Music account, it doesn't mean that I listen to everything on my Amazon Music account. It's a trip because I own thousands of CDs. I invested a lot of money into compact discs. I have all of them to this very day. So it's a trip when I think about how I use my Amazon Music account, because I use it to listen to music that if I didn't have Amazon Music account, I'd be listening to on CD. It's a trip. I'm listening to music digitally that I used to listen to via compact disc. Now, I will use Amazon Music account. I will use my Amazon Music account, which is really a business account. But nevertheless, it's for me. I use it to do work for the business. But I do use the Amazon Music account for some new music. Like when Cardi B came out with her album, I believe that was last year. I used my Amazon Music account to listen to that. And that's a good thing because I didn't have to spend money on that CD. Now, even though Cardi B is very funny to me, Cardi is also very degenerate to me. And again, this is just my personal opinion. Doesn't mean I hate Cardi B or don't like her. It's just that her music, her lyrics are very degenerate. They don't promote the best in humanity, especially women. And that's just my opinion. Very funny. A lot of stuff, that will make you laugh. She's kind of like the female version of Eminem. Funny stuff. Very, very, very funny. And, she is unique and she does have her talent. It's just, just risque and raunchy. Degenerate, just to be honest, degenerate stuff. Boy, Cardi is popping pussies and all type of crazy stuff. But that's what America likes, just like with Eminem, and she cleaned up. Cardi B cleaned up. But anyway, Amazon Music comes in handy, so I don't have to spend my money purchasing stuff like Cardi B, the stuff that she's saying on an album. I don't have to waste my money. I mean, technically it wouldn't be a waste because, again, the business is paying for it, but I guess it would be a waste to the business. But anyway, I don't have to spend my money on that stuff. I can spend my money on, things that are going to help me to grow as a person, develop as a human being. I get to spend my money on things that will mentally stimulate me and make me think. Things that will spiritually stimulate me, so Amazon Music, that comes in handy. You pay that monthly fee and you get to listen to whatever is available. And I hope I'm giving you guys the right information pertaining to Amazon, because I think I have unlimited. I think there's two different services and you have to have a particular service to listen to everything. Yeah, I think I said I get to listen to everything, which I do. So that I think people, that's Amazon Unlimited. I don't have a clue how much that monthly bill is, but it allows me to listen to Kanye West, the new albums by the likes of a Kanye West or a Cardi B or just whoever else. And I used it to listen to Kanye West, and I listened to the entire album, Jesus is King, and I liked it. I'm not a religious cat, as you all know, or should know, or may know. But I liked it. It was different. It was clean. He was able to rap in a clean way, and I give him credit for that. That means a lot of children can listen to that album. Elderly people, church people can listen to that album. All of the Christian community along the color lines, white Christians, black Christians, Hispanic Christians, they can all vibe to Jesus is King, that entire album. So I like the album. Yeah, I like the album. Kanye was saying things that will make certain people think. That album, or on that album, he's saying things that will feed the spirit. He's saying things that will make certain people think. Especially those who profess to be Christian. He will make them think. I'm not a Christian, and it does make you think about certain things. So I give Kanye credit for that. That shows his genius, because I do think he is an artistic genius. I really do. He's very creative. Kanye is very bold too. Yeah, he's very bold. He's very divergent. Very avant-garde. Kanye is just Kanye, man, and you got to give him credit for that, and in many respects, you got to like him for that. He is a black sheep. When it comes to music, he's a black sheep. Some of you may remember my video that I did years ago and uploaded to the defunct YouTube account. It was called The Black Sheep. I believe that was the name of it. Proud to be a Black Sheep, or The Black Sheep. I did an article as well. So I think the article was dealing with being proud of being a black sheep. And then the video was just entitled The Black Sheep. Kanye West is a black sheep. He is quark reversal. Most rappers, most hip hop artists, especially today, are unilinears. They walk that line. The record company says in order to get a contract, in order to keep a contract, in order to help us generate profits, you need to say A, B, C, D. That's being unilinear. We need, bitches and hoes and niggas and, sex, violence, drugs. Like, that's what sells to your people. Don't get it twisted. That's what sells to your people. Well, that's what sells to your people mostly, because again, I'm seeing here in the United States a lot of people. They're getting on that degenerate bandwagon. It's weird. It's never been like how it is today. That's what I'm noticing. I see a lot of white people doing the same thing that African Americans, mostly of the lower socioeconomic level or status, had a history of doing. I mean, it's low. I'm seeing white girl follow, the scandalous, degenerate black females and twerking and showing body parts and, just low down, decadent, dirty behavior. You see Latinas following and Asians. I mean, it's crazy. Some rapper said something. I don't know if it was T-Cash. I think it was T-Cash. I think it was my man T-Cash, one of my favorite rappers, by the way. T-Cash from Bay Area, Northern California. He said, which is something that I always say, is that they follow us in our worst state. And I've noticed that for some time. I've noticed white Americans, Latino, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, and others follow us, mimic us in our low downness. Not when we were progressive, but when we are degenerate. just low down and dirty, funky in the negative sense of that word. And I say negative sense because when James Brown used funky, it wasn't negative. It was actually positive. I know that's an oxymoron, but it's a black thing, and you would have to be black to understand, unless you're of a different race or culture and you study black history. You would know that funky back in the 60s and 70s, especially pertaining to the godfather of soul, Mr. James Brown, you knew it was positive. Make it funky. We're going to have a funky good time. That was positive. James Brown was not saying that they was going to fart up the place and have a funky good time. Like, it's going to be a funky good time because everybody in here is going to fart and it's just going to smell so funky and we're going to have a funky good time. James Brown was not saying that. James Brown was saying, we're going to do it to death, man. We're going to jam up in this joint. We're going to have a good time, that the rhythm is going to dominate. The vibe is going to be high. That's what James Brown was saying. So there's a negative and a positive pertaining to certain things. So getting back to my man Kanye West, thumbs up for Jesus is King. I listened to the entire album. That's a great thing about Amazon Music, in my opinion. I don't get paid, by the way, from Amazon. Maybe I should, but I don't get paid. I'm just putting that out there because it's something that helps me. And anything that helps me in my life, I will most definitely share it with others. Again, I use Amazon like I use Vudu and Hulu and Netflix and Amazon Prime and all of these other things that exist today. I use them for work, business purposes. My job is to watch movies and decipher movies. My job is to listen to songs and decipher messages from those songs and then share it with the public via a broadcast, like a Spreaker broadcast, or an article, or something that I'll do in the future. Maybe I'll share it in one of my classes. So it's work for me, and it works for me. I don't have to go out and buy separate CDs, which take up space, and then maybe there's just one or two songs that I'm vibing to out of a total of 15 to 18 to 20 songs, which is a waste, in my opinion. So this Jesus is King was 10 or 11 songs, a pretty brief album, by the way. Those songs are pretty fast, nothing, like 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes. It's kind of like back in the 40s and 50s and 60s where the average song was like 3 minutes. But be that as it may, Kanye got a lot over on that album and in those songs. And I give it 2 thumbs up. I'm not a Christian. I don't promote religion. I respect people's right and free will to believe as they do. But I'm not a Christian. I'm not anything. I'm not a Muslim, a Jew, or what have you. But still, I do listen to religious music. I listen to gospel. I still listen to my Islamic music, a lot of which is in Arabic. I like the sound. Certain songs, I like the instruments. I listen to Jewish and even Israeli music. That's just who I am. I'm a cosmopolitan person, so I listen to a whole bunch of things. Props to my moms, who I call Moms of Muse. She brought that out of me. I'm actually deeper in it than she was. I listened to just about everything: heavy metal, pop, country, gospel, hillbilly. It doesn't matter. That's the Venus in me. It runs deep. So I listen to just about every genre of music. So Kanye, the artist, I give him credit. He is unique, creative, artistic genius. And Kanye will produce music that will help society to think, which I think is a very good thing. Now, Kanye as a social activist, I do know that Kanye supports Donald Trump. I know he's been catching a lot of hell on social media, and especially from Black Americans, especially the quote unquote Black conscious community. They've been eating Kanye alive on that Trump support. But again, this is about me and what I think about him. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. I'm the type of person, man, I respect people for exercising their free will. I respect free will. So I respect Kanye using his mind to make a choice. Even if you don't agree with that choice, you got to give him credit in the sense that he's using his mind. He's obviously free thinking. He's obviously independently thinking. He's not doing things that he is supposed to do because he has been told that. That's what a lot of people do. A lot of people are unilinears. They walk that fine line, that straight line, and they get on board. They get on the bandwagon. You can't like Trump because, Trump is a racist. Trump grabs women by their hairy vaginas. Trump is a criminal. Trump has a history of bigotry and racism. He was a racist property manager. Just all type of stuff. Hell, and from my research, a lot of that stuff is true, but hell, he's not the only one. You can go down the list. Trump is not the only one. So why is it a big deal that, Donald Trump is all of these negative things or have done all of these negative things? Why is it such a big deal? And the only thing I can think of is because he's the president. Before he was a president, he was the same person. He was doing the same thing, had the same history, and people weren't up in arms. But because he is the president, he's up in arms. And I get it. I get it. Yo, Tahuti, he's the president, man. He should represent the best of America. He should be professional. He should be like Barack Obama. He should be like Clinton and all the other presidents who were presidential. And for me, that's a bunch of BS. It's a bunch of BS. I give Donald Trump credit in that he doesn't hide it. He doesn't play the role. And I respect that. I don't have to be pro-Trump. As most of you should know or may know, I'm apolitical. I don't believe in politics. I damn sure don't believe in American politics. But you got to give Trump credit. Yeah, he's the president, but he's still him. He didn't let that office change him. And he doesn't fake the funk like an Obama, a Bush, a Clinton. And going all the way, back, or down the list. And I personally give him credit for that. No, it may not be presidential. It may not be diplomatic, but it's honest. And I can get down with that. If Malcolm X was alive, Malcolm could get down with that. As Malcolm himself said, that he has more respect for a man that lets him know that he's a devil, rather than a man who comes off as an angel, but who is nothing but a devil, will stab you in the back as soon as he can. And I rock with that to this very day. Not endorsing the evil, the wrongdoing, not embracing any of that, only embracing the honesty. Because I am a truth lover. I'm a truth seeker. So how could I not give Trump his credit for being honest? Again, not embracing certain behavior, activity, not embracing it at all, but just giving credit. And obviously, Kanye does. He supports the man. I hear a lot about Kanye being a coon. He's cooning for white folks. I don't know. I think Kanye is just saying things that a lot of white people have always rocked with. A lot of white people have just thought that way. And Kanye, being a black man, simply operates from that vibration, which is going to attract white folks. They're going to, think he's cool. Like, he's a black guy, but he's into Christianity. That's a good thing, because Christianity has always been a white folks thing. That's who introduced it to black America, white folks. White folks, their ancestors enslaved black Americans' ancestor, and they did so utilizing Christianity. That's how black Americans became Christian. White folks in America have always been Christian. So you have a black man, Kanye West, a hip hop artist, an entertainer who's big on Christianity. Now, I understand that we can say that Christianity is the white man's religion. And I know there are a lot of people out there who will argue with that. Race doesn't matter, yada, yada, yada. But again, they utilized it. They introduced it to us. So when we look around at purveyors of Christianity, we will see white Americans. We will see white people. And this is why certain people are justified in calling Christianity the white man's religion, because they had it before us, at least this version of it, with the white Jesus and the racism and slaves, be obedient to your master. So dogma, doctrine, images, even the songs, wash me white as snow, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Hey, it just goes back to white folks. And so you have millions of African Americans, including Kanye West, who in 2019 still get down with Christianity. Again, it belongs to white folks. So, of course, white people are going to be attracted to Kanye West. I think the majority of them will even vibe Jesus is King. Even those who may be averse to rap music, they'll like this in the sense that, hey, it's talking about something that we can relate to. It's talking about, something that that we and our families ascribe to. That's a good thing. That helps to unify us. We're white, he's black, but we're all Christians. We can all coexist under that umbrella. So, of course, in my opinion, Kanye is going to attract a lot of people of a different race who endorse Christianity. In a certain respect, it's intelligent. You end up with allies that crosses racial borderlines. And I mean, it's always great to have, that support from your own. But it's better to have that support from your own plus others. That's how you grow. That's how a movement becomes large. When you have those allies, your people support you, and others from different backgrounds, different races and cultures, they support you as well. So I got to give Kanye West credit for that. Got to give him credit. I don't know if I would call him a coon, though. And this is not to say that a person who's not a coon can't do coonish things, but I personally wouldn't call the man a coon. I think the dude is just a quark reversal who's in entertainment and who has the spotlight on him. Free thinker, you may not agree with the things that he thinks about, the thing that he endorses. You may not agree with it, but nevertheless, he's used his mind and he's come up with something that is different from the majority of people. So you may not agree with it, but he's doing him. How many people that condemns Kanye West can say that they're living like him, that they're doing what he's doing? And of course, the dude is a millionaire, and most people who listen to the man work a 9 to 5. I get that. They won't be able to be like Kanye in that respect. But hell, what about free thinking? You don't have to be a millionaire or a billionaire to be a free thinker. You could be a free thinker today. You could be a free thinker working a 9 to 5. How many people are bold enough to freely think? How many people are bold enough to independently think? How many? How many? So you got to give that man his respect. And that, at least in that area. Social activists. Another thing, I got to give him and his wife, Kim, credit. And there's a lot of things people can say about Kim Kardashian. A lot of things. And I know about those things. But nevertheless, I got to give her and Ye credit for using their platform. They're using their success to do things that I didn't even see done when Obama was president. I mean, you have certain people whose stories were huge on social media. And under the Obama administration, all you could say is those people should be free. Those people should get a new trial. That's jacked up what happened to old girl. That's jacked up. That woman's a grandmother. That's jacked up that she's in jail for 30 years or for life. Under Obama, a black man, your quote unquote first black president, there was no help. There was no help from the office of the president, but even from celebrities. And so in the last couple of years with another white president, Trump, and with entertainers, one who is African American and the other Armenian, but I would like to focus more on the black entertainer. Since in the black community, we rock with those most or more. You have a white president, and then you have an entertainer, a celebrity that many in the conscious community considers to be a coon, but who is making a dent from what I see. He's making a dent in an area that has done a lot of harm to African Americans over the years. I'm talking about mass incarceration. Kanye and his wife have played a role in several people whose stories we only knew about because of social media were released by a white president who will go down in history as a racist, as a bigot. I'm sure of that. He will go down in history as that. But nevertheless, the racist, the bigot, did something that the quote unquote, I can't even say pro-black. So let me just say it like this, because I do want to be careful with my words, because I'll get feedback that will cause me to have to do a broadcast to clarify. So let me clarify now. Barack Obama, I would not say that Barack Obama was a pro-black president, because he was definitely afraid to identify with black. I have to give Michael Eric Dyson credit at that summit that was held several years ago with Cornel West, Minister Farrakhan, and Tavis Smiley and others. Michael Eric Dyson was on it. Dyson brought that heat to Obama, and it was justified. As a matter of fact, I listened to that video a couple of weeks ago. Mike brought it. He was correct. Obama shied away from blackness. He shied away from it. He wasn't the black president. He wasn't the president of Black America. I mean, he went out of his way. As a matter of fact, Obama publicly stated that he was anti-reparations. A quote unquote black man. The black president is against reparations. That's mind-boggling to me. That's mind-boggling because you do have white people, some white people who are pro-reparations. And I know white people have generally been freer than African Americans. And so white people are free to say certain things and get away with it or not catch as much hell as a black person for saying the same thing. I get that. Yeah, Trump can say it because he is white. You know, white in this society, a white man is more of a man than a black man because of the whole power dynamic. White men have power, mundane, worldly power. Whereas the black man, most black men do not, especially here in the United States of America. Let me clarify that. American black men lack it. And I don't want to get into the history now on this broadcast dealing with these Kanye questions. But I understand the argument that the black man is powerless because of what white men have done, what American white men have done to American black men historically here in the United States. That's another broadcast. But be that as it may, as it stands today, the white man has power and the black man, the American black man, lacks it and knows it. And so just because one gets into the White House doesn't change that fact, doesn't change that dynamic. And we witness it. We witness the impotence of the black man and a particular black man sitting in the seat of president who is so powerless that he doesn't want to offend white Americans. So he distanced himself from blackness. He's not a black president. He's a black man, but he's not a black president. He's not the president of Black America. He's like his political sister, Kamala Harris. Am I going to do something for just black Americans? No. That was Barack Obama. I'm not doing anything that's just going to benefit black Americans. And not just on the strength, but benefit them because something is due to them. Something is due to them predicated upon a grievance that we still express and articulate to this very day. Because that too is another broadcast. But I digress, as I have a habit to do, and which many of you sapsuckers enjoyed. That's why my videos in the past were 2, 3, 4, and 5 hours. Because y'all didn't check me. Y'all let me go all over the place. But I'm mindful here using Spreaker and the audio format. So I'm going to get back to Donald Trump, a white man, has done things that a black man lacked the testicular fortitude to do. And you gotta give him credit. No, you don't embrace the man being quote unquote bigot and racist and all these other things. But you gotta give the man credit for doing something that a black president was afraid to do. The man did something in an area that is very important to the community because mass incarceration has done major damage to black Americans. And if you study the subject matter or material, you know that it's strategic. And something should be done from the highest office downward. And you would have expected it with a black president. But no, you didn't get it from a black president. You got it from a white president. And so I personally give him credit for that. Now, I do have a gripe with Trump and even Kanye and Kim on this whole mass incarceration thing, because here's something for you to think about. We have black people who were imprisoned and who were released. But when we look at these black people, who were they and what did they do, especially for black Americans? Were they social activists? Were they revolutionaries? These black people who were imprisoned. And yes, when you study their cases, it's jacked up, but nevertheless, they were imprisoned. What did they do for us? What is their history? What is their legacy? And the reason why I ask this question is because if we're going to free incarcerated black people, why are we being selective? Trump, you went out of your way to free blacks who got in trouble overseas, which was very embarrassing for America and especially black Americans. One of the Ball brothers went to China and got caught shoplifting, which was so embarrassing. You're part of the Ball family. You got money. You got the big baller brand. Your father is a business genius, man. What are you doing stealing in China, man? When you got money and you steal, you give credence to this false doctrine that blacks are inherently criminal. Now, of course, the dude is unconscious, and that's the problem. Too many of us are unconscious, and they hurt the all. They hurt the whole. What are you doing in China stealing, man? And you're part of a race who has a stigma of being criminal and committing crimes. A stigma that was systematically created. It is no good for you. But because you're unconscious, man, you don't know. And you do something that reinforces that stigma. That same stigma that plays a role in police brutality. In these police shootings, murders. That plays a role in the systematic incarceration of African Americans. It's rough being a conscious, progressive, productive African American. It's rough because you have to deal with the white racists and also the black racists, but more so the black ignoramus class. It's rough because you have to deal with the racists and then the degenerate black people who are justifiably called niggas, who are not black people. There's a difference, as Chris Rock said in the past during a stand-up. There's a difference. But that's what we have to contend with. So it's frustrating and it's rough. But getting back on cue, Trump, yeah, we'll give you credit because you are addressing the issue, but you are addressing it in a way that is safe. It may piss white America off, but it is safe. And what I mean by that is it's safe for Trump to release entertainers or African Americans who aren't or who haven't done anything progressive or positive for Black Americans. The grandmother who was arrested on drugs. I mean, how's that beneficial to us as far as the grandmother selling drugs? How is selling drugs to African Americans beneficial? Now, I understand, Tootie, man, we broke, we don't have money, survive. I get all that. But I'm not going to let you get away with saying that we have to do crime as a way to make it, or the only way that we have to make it in America. That's BS. I'm not letting that fly. So it's good. You like to see a person who got a bad deal be released from prison. You like to see that, even though, as far as a contribution, you're insignificant, but you are a human being and you got a bad deal, and your race played a role in you getting a bad deal, because it's pretty commonplace here. So we like to see that. So clap. That's good. We like to see that. But we would also like to see a Mumia Abu-Jamal get released. And more so than a drug dealing grandmother or a young girl who murders her pimp, or some guy who tried to pimp her out. I mean, we want to see them all released. Let's keep it real. But we know that that's not going to be a reality. You see, we have to look deeper at things. We give Trump credit for doing things a black president didn't do, should have done, could have done, would have done, but didn't do. Yeah, we give you credit, but we're also looking at the type of black people you are releasing. Your releasing of certain black people is safe. It's not going to piss off a lot of white people. Now, I would like to see Trump release Mumia Abu-Jamal, Leonard Peltier, Native American, but nevertheless revolutionary, somebody who did something for the community. I would like to see that. I would like to see a Trump release a Mutulu Shabazz. I would like to see that. You see what I'm saying, people? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand, people, what I'm saying? You're releasing black people, but we're looking at the type that you're releasing. They're safe. And truth be told, they're not doing anything to forward or progress African Americans. That grandmother, that little girl, the little light-skinned sister who murdered the guy, I believe the pimp, they're not doing anything to progress us. They're not. If you release Abu Jamal and Shabazz and others, they don't have to do anything today because they did something in the past. They already put in work. And had they not been falsely imprisoned, they would have continued doing the work. And yes, that is another broadcast for those who think Abu Jamal is guilty. Oh, no. The facts say something else. Mutulu Shabazz, who was healing drug addicts in New York City and got a bad rap and was on the run, forced to run, creating a federal charge against the man or another federal charge against the man. These are separate shows, broadcasts to be done. Because Americans are more unconscious, more ignorant, more stupid. You just go down the list of pejorative terms at an all-time high, which means an all-time low. They're ignorant, man. They don't research anything. They don't see the facts. That's why so much can happen. Because we don't have the facts. All we have is the official story. And we run with that. And that's how injustice is served. I think about Abu Jamal a lot. And I'm like, damn, you're in prison on lies, man. You're in prison on a frame-up because of your association with the Black Panther Party or your membership with the Black Panther Party and association with the movement. Like, that's your crime. You cannot find that in Title 18, United States Code, or if you're in California, the California Penal Code. You can't find a membership in a Black revolutionary organization as a criminal offense or a public offense. But that's what you went down for under the guise of something else. So Trump personally won't get any credit from me until I see him bust a move. Sound like Young MC. Until I see Trump bust a move in that direction. When I see that, then I will publicly give Trump credit. From me personally. Now, I think what he's done to the grandmother and the young girl, well, she's mature now. I think she's in her, late 20s, early 30s now. That was a good thing. That was a good thing. But when it comes to a person like me, I see politics. I see you still on code. I still see you on code. And I will see you that way until the likes of Abu Jamal or Shabazz is released. Because that's what I would like to see. And the same thing, Kanye. Do you even know about Mutulu Shabazz? Kanye, I'm sorry, people. I'm saying Shabazz, thinking Malcolm Shabazz. I meant to say Shakur, because Mutulu Shakur has links to Tupac Shakur. I've been saying Shabazz all this time. I apologize. Shakur. That happens when you are a repository of so much freaking information. Mutulu Shakur. Mumia Abu Jamal. Leonard Peltier or Peltier. And others. I mean, it would be really radical if Assata Shakur can get off the red list. Assata Shakur. See, this plays into getting rid of Tupac Shakur. You get it, people? Mutulu Shakur. Assata Shakur. Tupac Shakur. Shakur. The very name sends out vibrations of revolutionary resistance. You see? So that's why if you release a Mutulu Shakur and even Assata Shakur, man, that's some revolutionary stuff right there. That would make a serious statement. But again, Trump is on code. Because to do that, that strikes at the core of America. Because at America's core, she must oppress. She must handicap productive, progressive, black revolutionary resistance. She must cripple that, annihilate that. Cripple it first, and if that doesn't work, annihilate it. Because it goes against the core of America. Because the core of America is a foundation on the oppression of black people, colored people, indigenous people. So for a white person, especially as president of the United States of America, to release one of those individuals, it says a lot. And it would make a truthful statement that America is ready to repent and that America acknowledges her great harm to African American people. That would make a hell of a statement. And not to be negative or pessimistic, but you'll never see it. You'll never see it. And so now, listening to this broadcast, you will look at things differently. You'll look at things differently. Trump, yeah, you're helping black people, but what type of black people are you helping? You're helping the safe ones, the unconscious ones, rappers, people who got caught up in a certain lifestyle. You're helping them. But you're not helping those that helped us. See, a person like me, I see that. See, a Chuck D of Public Enemy, he sees that. A KRS-One, he sees that. A Tariq Nasheed, he sees that. There's certain of us who can see. We have eyes to see and ears to hear. And a lot of us don't. We're not critical in our analysis. And on top of that, a lot of us are not historically acute. We are deficient in cultural historical acumen. We're not sharp. We're dull in that respect. And that includes Kanye West. It would include Candace Owens. It would include a lot of your modern day black conservatives. A lot. Not all, but a lot. So I would have to put Kanye in that category. But nevertheless, compared to those who have come before them, you take a Kanye West and a Kim Kardashian, and you compare them to a Jay-Z and Beyonce. You have to give more credit to Ye and Kim. Even though these are, I don't want to say insignificant black people, but because these are a certain type of black people, nevertheless, they are a people who have been impacted by this strategic mass incarceration of African Americans, of which these people are members of, got caught up in that spider web, got caught up in that system, got caught up in that network. Compared to the likes of a Beyonce and a Jay-Z, you got to give Ye and Kim credit. You got to give them credit. Yo, it was great. It was cool that Beyonce did her Black Panther tribute. during the halftime of a Super Bowl. I don't know which Super Bowl because I don't watch the Super Bowl, but I know there was a Super Bowl that took place several years ago, and Beyonce did a tribute to the Black Panther Party and caught hell from a lot of people, mostly white Americans, but a few black Americans, usually of the conservative mindset. But she caught hell. But that didn't really do anything for us. Like that didn't get us a result. That didn't cause a jail cell to open up and release somebody. And I'm not hating. I'm not attempting to play Beyonce and Jay-Z against Kim and Ye. I'm just looking at the contributions. That's all. I mean, when it comes to social activism, Ye and Kim, I mean, they're kicking backside compared to others. Ye and Kim, they're getting stuff done. They're getting it done compared to others. So this is why, compared to many other hip hop artists, I put Ye in the bracket of being an entertainer that captures my attention from time to time. Because you don't see that with a lot of hip hop artists. They play it safe. They're unilinears. They stay away from the political activism, the social activism. They stay away from it. And they just do them. Collect their chips and live their life that doesn't include helping their people, and especially in a way that they need to be helped. And I provide music that make people feel good. I get it. But I would actually say that you provide music that help people to escape. You provide opiate music. Or as my man Professor Griff says, you provide bubblegum music. After the taste, you spit it out. So it's not long standing. So I give Kanye credit. Even if he's in the baby stage of his activism, at least he's out there. At least he's not afraid to risk his following. A lot of African Americans fell off the Ye bandwagon when that dude publicly endorsed Trump. That's bold, man. You got to give a person credit for being bold. That lets you know he doesn't care. And you got to respect that. You got to respect that. So, as far as the social activism, man, it's better than most. You know, as an artist, better than most. So, yeah, it's all right with me. You know, I won't be listening to Jesus is King. That's just something that, I won't be doing. I listen to the album. It's a cool album. I give it 2 thumbs up. But it's not like I'm going to be listening to that album over and over again like I do Public Enemy. You know, it takes a nation of millions to hold us back. I listen to that joint all the time. Paris, Sleeping with the Enemy. I listen to that joint all the time. Sonic Jihad. I listen to that joint all the time. So, pertaining to Kanye, it just doesn't have that flavor. It's not going to do that for me. Only certain hip hop artists have that impact on me. It's not a lot of them, but they do exist. I spend my time listening to them because it keeps me stimulated. And I've grown so much since I discovered Paris and T-Cash and Public Enemy and KRS-One and others. But still, it is great to be in this day and age where there's so much degeneracy, so much talking loud and saying nothing, man, to listen to that music today and still be stimulated, it keeps you sharp. The things that they were rapping about in the late 80s and early 90s are still here today, which means their music is relevant in 2019. And it was recorded damn near 30 years ago. Kanye West being a coon, I can understand why certain of us call him that. That's a whole different broadcast because I have a lot to say on that. But I get it. I understand why they call him a coon. But I also understand the energy behind that, why certain of us, quote unquote, conscious blacks call him that. And we have to look at that. We have to really look at the name calling of blacks, other blacks who don't agree with us. We have to look at that. We have to analyze that. Where's that coming from? Is that really productive? If we're really productive, progressive people, is calling others who disagree with us or who doesn't share the same views as us, are they coons? Should they be ridiculed? So we have to look at that. And I told you guys that Jesus is King get 2 thumbs up from me because it's a clean album. It is saying something. It will make people think. It will unite those of the Christian faith. It will unite them across color lines. It may be brief or what have you, but it will do that. I think that it will do that because there are black Christians, there are white Christians, there are Latino, Hispanic Christians, Asian Christians, Christians of all nationalities and races, of course. So I think that does it. The 5 questions have been answered. I have given my honest opinion about Mr. Kanye West and his social activism, his latest album, Jesus is King, how I feel about that man as an artist. And yeah, I think that was it. So cool. It is done. I can get some work done. I have to type up the information on my future courses. I am going to individualize the consultations again. So you'll see relationship consultation. You'll see financial/business consultation, or I might even just separate those two, financial and business. Yeah, I might separate those. Life guidance, law, herbalism, etc. So I think it's about 12 or 15 individualized consultations that people will see. They will include book lists. Some will include reports, astrological reports, numerology reports. Some will include a book or two. And some will include discounts to other services that tie into the particular type of consultation the person will order. So that's what I have to work on. And of course, I have to work on a lot of herbal products. A lot of new elixirs are coming, mostly aphrodisiac elixirs. It's taken me a while to get my hands on a lot of these exotic herbs, aphrodisiac or aphrodisiacal herbs that I have a 95% of, which means I can go ahead and make those formulas. So suffice to say, I have a lot of work to do, as I always have a lot of work to do. I stay busy every day of my life, but I do start my days very early, which will allow me to do my recordings that I will do my best to keep at an hour or less. My minimum will be 15 minutes, and I want my max to be 1 hour because that will allow me to record the broadcast and share the broadcast free of charge. and then it will allow me to do my role in a business that I'm grateful for, and I'm grateful for the people who are on board, be that the board or the employees. They don't like to be called employees, but the associates. They want to be known as the associates, and I get it. But nevertheless, I'm grateful for all of that. I'm grateful for being busy. A lot of people are not busy. A lot of people don't have anything to be, grateful for. At least they feel that way, and I'm not one of those individuals. So I'm a very happy camper. Yes, I do a lot of work. I stay busy. But the difference is I love it. Yeah, make no mistake. I love what I do. My only challenge is there's just not enough time in the day. For me, there just really isn't enough time in the day. But it's not something that I bitch about, Hey, man, I roll with the punches. And I just get the job done. And if I don't, get something done today, then, my goal is to get it done the next day. Just soon as possible. That may be the end of the week. It may be the end of the month. My goal is to just, get it done. I wake up every day with passion and drive and purpose, which it plays a major role. And looking forward to getting up, early and getting to work, because my work is my play. I don't see it as work in the sense of, work as most people understand work. The 9 to 5, the punching the clock and bosses and superiors and, all that stuff there. My work is different. My work is play. You can remove the money and I'll do everything that I'm doing. As a matter of fact, I started out that way. I started out that way, so it's just, full circle. I'm just more mature. I got a lot of experience under my belt. But I also have more enthusiasm, more purpose, more passion, more drive under my belt because of all that I've been through, all that I've experienced, So I know this thing works. I know that, there is purpose to life, mundane and, spiritual. It's twofold. Like I know all of that. It's under my belt, so it just helps me. It just helps to propel me to the next level. And that involves working with you, working with the public. So that's what I have to work on. I have to get busy. This is done. Send your questions for the broadcast to the Twitter pages. You can send it to the Tootie Matra Twitter page, or even the DMR Herbs or Tootie Matra Herbs DM direct message on Twitter. I don't use email because the truth of the matter is I'm behind. So it's too many emails and, they just get all mixed in, legal inquiries, health inquiries, just all type of inquiries. So just send your request to Twitter, Tootie Matra or Tootie Matra Herbs Twitter pages. And we'll go from there. Myself and Lisa, we will cut and paste them and put them on my sheet. And when time allows, I will do a broadcast answering the questions. So that's going to do it for this, people. I want to thank you guys for listening to this broadcast. And I do hope that you were stimulated, because that is my goal for being on social media and doing videos and audios, writing articles, is to stimulate thought. I don't have a religion. I don't have anything for people to follow. That's not me. My goal is to just stimulate thought. And my goal is to provide building blocks for your own thoughts, your thoughts. It's all about you, your thoughts, your views, your mission. It's all about you. So my role is to assist you in doing you. So on behalf of TootieMyRawHerbs.com, that's going to do it for this broadcast. Be safe, people. Peace and love.